Hello, welcome to the Knitting Project podcast. My name is Sharon and I'm coming to you from Surrey in the UK, where I live with my family and my animals. Today is Wednesday the 24th of May 2023 and this is episode 142. 143. Oh dear, it's off to a good start, isn't it? So again, I'm still not on project, although I might go back on project at some point, but I'm still off at the moment, so this is not my normal format. I am really sorry for such a large gap. It's just, I'm beginning to realise that if I want to record a podcast, I just need to get on and record it and not wait for that optimum time when the house, my room is tidy, etc, etc, because that's never going to happen. I'm just looking around to see what you can see in the background, but I don't think you can see too much. So I'm going to share with you what I've been working on since I last saw you. I've got a couple of finished objects. I've got some happy mail. I've got a load of new cast-ons which I'm not sure you have seen. And yeah, that should be it. And I'm going to try and keep this a little bit shorter than it has been in the past, but no guarantees. So let's go into the first thing, which is finished objects. So for ease of sharing these, because they're both socks, I put one sock on the blocker from each pair. So the first one are my socks for Charlie for April. It's this beautiful self-striping by Woolly Goodness Yarns, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I just did a little shorty one. I've done, what have I done? 2x2 twisted rib, short leg. I did a forethought afterthought heel, so I put in waist yarn and then put in the afterthought heel, and then I've got a little wedge toe on that. So she'll be very pleased to know that she can have her socks now. But it's such a lovely colourway. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's something to do with spring. Jenny, if you're watching and you have any, let me know and stick it down below. But yeah, I love it. It's so pretty. I loved how the greens blended together. It's so beautiful. Isn't that lovely? So Charlie's going to love these. So they're off to Charlie. And then my other finished object was a pair of socks for me. And these are the Tulip socks by Jules Hill of So Sweet Violet. And it's got her toe on it. Can't remember what toe it was called, but it's a toe. And then this beautiful tulip pattern all the way up. And I did a twisted 1x1 twisted rib. I don't know if that was in the pattern or whether that was me, but that's what's on the top there. So this was a toe-up sock, which is really unusual for me. I don't normally do toe-up socks. I like the way the heel's done on this. This is a really great heel. And I used the minis from her Beautiful Bits basket for these socks. And yeah, I loved this pattern. It looks amazing and it's actually quite easy to do. So these socks kind of flew off the needles because they were quite quick to do. The only issue I would say I had with it was that I couldn't do it in the dark because of the pattern. So I couldn't, if I was out driving at night, well, somebody else was driving if I was in the car at night, I couldn't do these socks, but that didn't matter. They pretty much knit themselves. But it's lovely. I love this pattern. So it's the tulip socks. And just to prove, there is in fact a second one of that one and a second one of that one. So I did get two of it, but a pair of both. So that's my finished objects. I have got another finished object. I finished Meg's Perec. There should be some video that if it worked I will put in here. Okay, I have finished Meg's Perec. This is a pattern, I can't remember who it's by, so we'll have to look that one up. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen. And I have been knitting for a little while. I've got one myself in pink. This is a grey one that was done in Dragon Hill Studios Alpaca and Little Grey Girl Floof. And yeah, it's lovely. I'm going to give it to her now, so I cannot show it on the podcast because I know she wants it. I'm just going to go and take my labels into her so she can choose a label for it, and then this will be done. I've spoken a lot about the Perec in that video. I loved it. It was such a nice knit. I want to make another one for her and for myself, but I'm going to make her one next, which is going to be from some the Camel's yarn, which I'd made her a different top in, but we just can't get it to fit properly, so I'm going to make her a Perec in that yarn. So I need to repurpose that yarn and then knit that up. So that's all my finished objects, at least that I can remember. I'm afraid that's all my finished objects. I'm going to start with my whips in no particular order, but just because this one's sitting on my desk. So this is a new project bag. I was very lucky to go to River Knit's open day with my lovely friend Sally, and I got this bag from the lovely Ishrat at Fruitful Fusion, and whilst we're there I got this yarn with it too, which is beautiful. It's called Zest. It's so lovely. I just think it's so sort of springy, and yeah, love it. It's sort of a delicate pinky colour. It's not really showing up great on the camera in my screen. Hopefully it's better when I edit it. But it's got these pops of green in, and yeah, I really like that. And I'm thinking I might do the Sock Society pattern 1 in that, but I need to wind it up. So, but in here is a new hook on. This is a new crochet blanket. My lovely daughter Charlie. So I have 3 daughters. My middle daughter is probably one of my most knit worthy of my daughters, if I'm honest. It's her I'm doing a year of socks for, and when I said to her would she like a knitted blanket, she said yes please. So I'm now crocheting her one, but same difference. A woolen blanket, shall we say. So this blanket is this half is my 2022 advent from Giddy Yarns, which was based on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I don't know why that one looks so holy there. I don't know what I've done there, but there's a big hole on that one. So I'm going to do this half. So I'm going to go up in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the advent from 2022, and then I'm going to decrease in the advent from 2021, which was Narnia. So she's going to have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on one end and Narnia on the other. So it will be a blanket of 2 halves, but I think it'd be lovely, and it's so pretty. It is so pretty. The yarn in it, the colours are gorgeous. I'm using a 4mm yarn, 4mm crochet hook for this one. I'm using a 3mm crochet hook for Ian's blanket, which is on hiatus temporarily while I do this one, because right, so sorry, say that again. I'm using a 3mm hook on Ian's blanket, which I'm not working on at the moment, but that's quite dense, and I kind of wanted it a little bit more open, so I thought, well, I'll try it on a 4mm, because I like what the gauge is like on a 4mm needle for blankets with fingering weight yarn. It's not on. Yes, I have got it. I'm sitting on it. So this is the habitation throw from Helen Stewart, and this was done on a 4mm knitting needle. So I thought, well, I'll try a 4mm hook, and I have to say I love it. I love the gauge I've got out of this. It's really nice. So I mean, I've already restarted Ian's blanket once because it was on a 2.5mm and took it up to 3. I don't think, given how far through it I am now, I'm going to change now, but in future I will probably do my corner to corner blankets on a 4mm hook, because as I said, I just love how it looks. There we go. Looks so lovely, and this advent's gorgeous. These colours are so pretty. So there'll be 24 increase and then 24 decrease. They're only 10 gram minis. My only slight concern is if I'm only now getting 2 rows, and I'm on mini 12, so I'm quarter of the way through. I wonder whether by the time I get to the middle I'll have less than a row, and I'm not sure how that will look. So we will reserve judgment on that as it gets bigger. But yeah, I'm on mini 12 now, so I'm pretty much a quarter of the way through it. I'm trying to do this as my in the morning something a day on a blanket, so I'm trying to put a mini in each morning, and because they're 10 grams, it's not that difficult to put them in. So this is actually tomorrow's, so I've finished today's, and because I had a little bit of the video left I was watching on YouTube, I started putting that one in as well. And then often if I go out, this is car knitting, car crocheting as well. That's living in this beautiful bag. Let me show you the inside if I can. It's got beautiful pockets and things in it. So that's the rest of that advent in there, and then on the floor over there in a plastic bag I have the other advent, because I actually knew where it was. So I was able to get it out. So that's exciting. So that's my first whip. I'm going to round up the rest of them now. So next up, in living in my beautiful little what's it called, Bubbles and Berries little sock sack, I've got Charlie's May socks, and these are a little shorty pair, and the yarn is a homespun house, and it's called It's Okay to Be Alone, and it's a 80/20 merino nylon. It's beautiful, the colour is gorgeous. It's beautiful blues and greens, and there's some undyed in there too. And I have finished the first sock, although I have not sewn in my ends on it yet. So that's the first. This is just my plain vanilla shorty sock, which is exactly what she wanted. She requested this. She chose the colour and she requested this sock. So we've got a 1x1 twisted rib at the top, heel flap and gusset, and then a wedge toe. And yeah, as I said, she chose the yarn and she requested a shorty pair, because she's got a pair that I did which was made by Penguin's yarn that she lives in, absolutely lives in. She loves those socks. So that's how it's knitting up. Isn't it beautiful? All the colours, and I do love Molly's yarn. It's so pretty. This is kind of part of my quest of using all my precious skeins up. So pretty. So finished the first one, and I have cast on the second. Got a little cast on there, ready to go. Well, it was a little cast on ready to go. Can you spot the deliberate error? Yeah, that's definitely a 1x1 twisted rib, and that's definitely a 2x2 twisted rib. So we'll be ripping that out. Oh dear. So now we haven't started the second sock. I'll have to get that cast on actually, because then it makes really good car knitting. Oh dear, oh dear. This ball is... Oh, okay, I'm going to have to sort that out later. Yeah, okay, that's a tangle for later, basically. This ball, and my ball winder just had a complete fit with this ball. So I ended up having to split it into two. And I'm using... oh, that's interesting. It's probably just as well I rip them out. So I'm using 2.5mm chalgo needles, but are not a pair. But I'm fairly certain around here somewhere I have another pair of 2.5mm that are not a pair. Oh no, they are a pair. Okay, they're a pair. That's annoying. I thought they weren't. Probably need the longer ones for that project, so we'll stick that over there. But yeah, so they're not a pair. I need to find my other shorter chalgo needle somewhere. I don't know where it is. I would also want to cast on a pair of self-striping socks for me, because at the moment I do not have any socks for me on the go. And then my last whip that I'm working on at the moment, yeah, I know, who am I? 3 things, wow, is my Shoe Sweet Shrug. Thank you, Tracy, to the Knitting on the Float podcast, who corrected, well, not corrected my pronunciation, because she didn't, but she found it, the correct pronunciation, and I'm now copying her. We are both doing this, the Shoe Sweet Shrug, and this is a pattern by, you have seen this, Suzanne Sommer. There we go. And I'm going great guns with it, actually. So on my first balls, go away. On my first balls, I've got that much and that much left. I actually want to take off, I want to knit in, here we go. I'm doing a Cosy Memory blanket of everything I've finished this year. And in the optimism that I will get this finished, I want to knit a square in this before I use it all up. So that's going to go in there once I finish the square that's on there. So I'm going to try and get that done over the next few days. So that's what I've got left of my first 2 balls of yarn. And then it sounds like the shopping order might be here, in which case I will get interrupted. Yeah, it is. Okay, well, we'll leave showing that until after I put my shopping order away. So a few minutes of moments have passed for you, and I have put away a whole shopping order and had issues sorting out my kitchen, so you know, that happened. Right, you don't want to hear about that, you want to see the knitting. So as I was saying, this is my Shoe Sweet Shrug, and this is how it's looking. I have nearly finished all the repeats before I split off all the sleeves. I think I've got 1 more repeat to do. Actually, you know what, I'm even going to try and look that up because it's just amongst a load of paperwork. So yeah, I am loving it. It's very long rows now. There's, I think, nearly 500 stitches on a row. I'm going to hold it by the needles because I do not want said stitches falling off. Yeah, so that's the back side, which I actually really like. And Tracy on Knitting on the Float podcast, who's joined me in knitting one of these, said that it's reversible, which is good, so I might be able to wear it this side out, which is lovely. So that's my wrong side, and that's my right side. I thought the white would pop more, hold on, against the coloured, but it doesn't. So yeah, I think in hindsight I would have used that as my main colour that way around, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. So I haven't got much more of that colour to go in. I have not got enough yarn to do it all in the same colour, so I am using the same yarns, which is Dandelion and Dogwood, so they'll kind of have the same feel. But I've got this kind of pinky bluey. So this one's, whereas this one's more blue, this one will be more pink, but it will still have some of the blue in it. And then it goes into this one, which is much more pink and has quite a lot of white in. I'm not sure how much of this one I will need. I may not need it at all. So I figured actually using this one last, because this will be closest to the colour that I'm using, which will be more difficult to knit, will mean that I will at least be quite experienced in knitting it by then. So that's what I'm doing. This is all living in my beautiful bag from So Sweet Violet, which is a big bear bag. It's huge, so it lives in here quite comfortably. I've got my 2 undyeds, which are just undyeds I had in stash from when I was dyeing yarn. Not that, I mean, for my own use, I didn't dye yarn. And they're in yarn bowls because they keep escaping out of said yarn bowls and getting tangled with the main bit. And then that's the other one. Again, it's just the plain one, but it's in there just to keep it from unravelling. So that's my Shisui shrug. I'm loving knitting on that. We're going down the caravan. Did I say that? I already said we're going down the caravan. We're going down the caravan for the bank holiday weekend. So I'm hoping I will get a lot more done on that. And the other project that I can't show you anyway because it's a birthday present, but I haven't started yet because I'm waiting for some yarn. So as soon as the yarn turns up for that, I'll get on with it. So if the yarn turns up in time for me to go to the caravan, I'll be working on that. If not, I won't. It'll be this. But yeah, so I'm loving that. Right, I'm gonna stop the camera again for a minute, and then I'm going to go and grab my giant basket of happy mail. Okay, so I've got a few bits and pieces to talk about. My first one is I am a huge fan of a Quilt and Thorns and Roses series, and the Fibre Fox, the lovely Georgie, is doing spring quilt, summer quilt, autumn quilt and winter quilt throughout the year. I didn't realise she was doing it until the summer quilt box came out, but she did put up a couple of spring quilt boxes. So it comes this beautiful box, and you get I can't remember how many it is. Is it 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, no, 15. You get 15 minis and a beautiful stitch marker from Alika, which is gorgeous. And these are the colours. Aren't they beautiful? So this is her twinkle fingering weight, so it's 75% merino, 28% nylon, 5% stellina, and they're 20 gram minis. So yeah, these are gorgeous. That's her beautiful little logo. Aren't they lovely? I don't know what I'm going to do with these yet. Really don't. I don't know whether to save them all and do them in a project. That is a lot of yarn actually. I mean, even if I was to make myself scrappy socks out of this, I'd still have enough yarn left over to make a blanket at the end of it. But yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful yarn. Beautiful colours. So pretty. So that's that one. Right, and what else have we got next? So, should we do this next? So this is from Sherry Iris. I've got a little glasses case. This is the reason I podcast, because I want to take this down the caravan with me, and it's still sitting in my happy mailbox, and it's got this beautiful little cow parsley embroidery on it. And I just want this. Oh, it's my neighbour in his leaf blower. I'm really sorry. We're going to have to crash on. So yeah, it's got this beautiful hand embroidered cow parsley on it. So pretty. So that's from Sherry Iris. And then also she had a patch. Excuse me a moment. Okay, I'm back. So this is a Sherry Iris bag. It is her patchwork bag. It's super cute. I just like the colours. Not that that's a surprise, is it? I love the colours on this. So that's a new project bag. You might go, you do not need any more new project bags. And you'd be perfectly correct. You're right, I don't need any more new project bags. But it's amazing how many of my current project bags I pick up to put a new project in, and it already has a project in it. I really, really do need to work on my whips. Okay, so along with my Sherry Iris order, I think this is the last thing from Sherry Iris. I'm not certain. This is one of her posies, and this is a... It doesn't say on it what it is. Solomon seal, could that be it? But it's based on a posy of flowers, and it's so pretty. So you've got this beautiful... Oh, I'm undressing it. I've undressed the mini. Don't undress the mini. This beautiful kind of violet colour. We've got a blue, and then we've got a purple, and then the main skein is kind of green and pink. It's very pretty. Very pretty. Don't know what I'm going to knit with it, but it's gorgeous. And then I've got some Giddy Yarns yarn. Helen had a self-striping update, and I managed to snag a couple of them. So they came with a mini, so that's my mini and that's my mani. And this one is Snapdragon. Isn't that pretty? I don't know which one of these I'm going to knit, but I wanted a self-striping one. I don't know whether to knit these or whether to stash dive and actually knit some of my older skeins. And then this one I really wanted. I've coveted this for a while. This is Spring Fling. I really liked this. And that's the mini that goes with it. Yeah, I really, really like this one. So yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm going to knit one of these or whether I'm going to go stash diving and knit some of my older self-striping skeins. But I want to knit myself a pair of sort of summery socks, which either of these kind of lend themselves to. So that's that one. What else have we got? I've got another box. Oh, this is a Sherry Iris box. So this is one of Sherry Iris's journal boxes. And this one will be February's, which was bird's eggs. So you get an explanation of what it is. And then you get, in this one there is some soap, which I haven't unwrapped yet. I haven't unwrapped it just in case I decide I'm going to re-gift that. Because I like giving these away as little presents. But the main skein is this one. It's beautiful. So pretty. This was originally what I was going to do, the first Sock Society sock in, so I may do it in this one and then do the second one in that other colour, but I think given I've seen the pattern, that first one lends itself to it a bit better, the Fruitful Fusion one. And then there's mini skeins. Okay, really pretty. I love this one. It's got this kind of pop in it, which is even pink, sort of pinky colour on that side. So pretty. So these are all bird's egg colourways. And then there's a beautiful art print from Chris of a robin. A little lavender bag. A little pouch. This one is blue and white. I love the design on this. I use these for a lot of things, not just kind of knitting related. I put them in my handbag quite a lot with bits and pieces in them. And then there's a embroidery, which is this one, which hopefully I'll get to do these at some point. One day when I have loads more time. So let's put all this back in here. Try to keep these boxes together as much as I can. Had the Blossom one and it's absolutely gorgeous, but that was March's. Now I mean we are in May, so presumably everybody's got them, but just in case I'm gonna leave that till next time. What else have we got in here? I've got, what's this? What are you? Your Elderflower Stitches, and this is Summer Blooms on a sparkle sock. And again, very me colours. Fairly certain these will become scrappy socks at some point, possibly in the not too far distant future, but they are very pretty. I just love it, it's so pretty. And then, oh, I've got quite a bit more in there. I've got Woolly Goodness. This is the April Pastels and Pops Club. And I get the pastels and the pops, so that is the pops and that is the pastels. It's beautiful blues. This is going to make such a beautiful rainbow blanket at some point with all these sets. So I think I might do another either corner to corner crochet blanket or habitation throw in these, because I really like how these go together. So these are all going away together at the moment just to hang on till I decide I want to knit that particular blanket. I've got Lay Family Yarn Geese Eggs Blanket Club, which has got this beautiful violet or mauve main skein, and then these two really pretty 50-gram skeins with it. Still have not decided what I'm going to be doing with this yet, because I'm not making the goose egg quilt. So yeah, I'm still collecting the yarn at the moment. Each time I'm like, maybe I won't get this month, I'll see what it is. I'm like, oh, I love those colours and I get it, so I'm just going to have to decide what I'm doing with it. Maybe a lot of socks at some point. What else have I got in here? I've got those as well. So I've got another Giddy Yarns, very much a Giddy Yarns podcast, and this was her Bitches Potter minis, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. And I love these. If you saw Helen's podcast, I think she's made scrappy socks in them, or someone's made scrappy socks in them, and I've seen it, and they're absolutely beautiful. I was like, I want those. So I was lucky enough to snag a set in one of her updates, and they are really pretty. I feel the need to do scrappy socks now. So now I want to cast on self-striping socks and scrappy socks. It's going well, isn't it? And not quite last, because I've got these. So second to last, I managed to snag a couple of Corner of Craft stitch markers, and they're these beautiful big berries. Now I particularly wanted these for anchoring my crochet projects, because they're so big. They're going to be a really good anchor to put through the stitch when you finished crocheting and you want to put it down. If you pop one of these through the stitch you're on, it holds it in place so it can't run off and, you know, half your crochet comes undone. And I love the fact that they're quite large, although they're very light still, because they're easy. It's easier to find the end. So I'm going to put one of those on my crochet project in a minute, and the other one's going to go on my other crochet project that isn't around at the moment. And then lastly, I got a beautiful bits basket complete with beautiful bits from the lovely Jules So Sweet Violet. So this was, there's not a May one, so this was April's, and that's the bits inside. So pretty, so pretty. So that's going to join my collection that are up there. I've got 3. This will be number 4. Looking forward to it in the new house, having a white shelf with all these on top. I think it'll look really pretty, and I'm just going to keep little bits and pieces in here. One of these is most definitely going to have So Sweet Violet stitch markers and progress keepers in it, because I loved her, both of those from So Sweet Violet, and I would like to keep them separately in something. So yeah, definitely going to have those in. Some of them might end up with my knitting labels, so they're in here at the moment, as you can see. So that would be quite a good place to have those as well. So that is it for Happy Mail. That was quite a marathon. Yeah. Wow, all done. So as far as the life update is concerned, we're still sorting out the house, which is why I have been so absent. I also got this awful cold in Wales that's given me a hacking cough that meant that getting through a podcast without having to edit every 2 minutes because I was coughing was impossible. So we I couldn't do that. I have got a load of footage of various things that need to go up, so I'm going to edit this first. I'm going to get this up hopefully by the end of this week, and then I'm going to work on putting out a series of videos of the Welsh stuff and anything else I have taken a video of. There's some where I've been doing the house, there's some house footage in there. I've got various bits and pieces, so I thought I'd just record a podcast so I can start afresh with where I am on the podcast, which would be really nice. And then I will start going back on my cameras and start putting up little vlogs here and there, and it might be quite bitty, is the only thing I will warn you. So thank you so much for joining me and sticking with this crazy schedule that I'm on. I would so love to be able to video weekly, but I just can't at the moment, no matter how hard I try, and I do keep trying. So thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you for your kind comments, and I really, really do appreciate them. Yeah, they make my day. So I hope you're all okay wherever you are. Take care, and I will see you as soon as I can.